In beginning with looking at the Steple analysis, we will begin by looking at the social environment. Some key facts regarding this section are as follows. 1. Twitter is one of the most diverse social groups with only 41% of its users being Caucasian. This allows for ideas and tweets to be posted from a wide range of people inputting different viewpoints. Next, Twitter opened a $3 million tech development center in San Francisco to coach the poor and homeless basic tech skills and to offer counseling. This effort can help increase the user base and market cap that Twitter has. Next, when looking at the countries who use Twitter, we see that the US is most prominent with 65 million users. India has 41 million, Indonesia with 24 million, and Japan with 22 million. One of Twitter's most recent focuses has been to expand into other countries where it is not utilized as the company is struggling to grow. Lastly, another aspect we can look at is what people are using Twitter for. About 10% of users suggest they use Twitter for breaking news, while about 39% of users go to Twitter exclusively for their daily news and updates. Moving into the technological environment, we recognize a key fact regarding Twitter's aim for the future. In past years, Twitter has been pouring funding into its research and development division. In 2013, for example, they spent $90 million in the department. This excess spending suggests gaining an upper hand on competition in adapting new technologies. This ranges from adapting new software to researching how they can obtain a larger user base. In regards to some of their current software, Twitter collects user information such as where the tweets are sent from, what users have used, where the app is accessed from, and other information to build a profile on users to promote to third-party advertisers. In addition, Twitter mainly uses Ruby on Rails for their front-end services, and primarily Scala and Java for back-end services. When looking at patents that Twitter holds, we see that they have one in place over short-form communication. This is one of the focal points of their business. This is a routing engine in place that can receive input from a variety of devices and locations, which in turn can be accessed by end users from similar sources. Now we will proceed into the economic standpoint of things. Twitter's revenues are mainly generated through deals with third-party advertising companies. Despite the belief that Twitter has not done this effectively, they are actually very successful in presenting these ads to consumers. They are found throughout the timeline as users scroll through their feed. Some statistics pertaining to this include: first, 60% of brand followers are more likely to recommend it to a friend after following it on Twitter. Next, 75% of consumers have never unfollowed a brand on Twitter. And lastly, 50% of brand followers are more likely to buy from a brand after following it on Twitter. These statistics show us that it is extremely beneficial for a company to have a presence on Twitter. Companies can use Twitter as a platform to not only promote products, but to lure new customers and ultimately enhance revenues. Twitter also works to enhance their own revenues by offering apps designed to be used in association with their main platform. The current total is in the vicinity of 50,000 separate applications that have been developed. We will now proceed to take a look at the political and legal environment that Twitter has. This is one of the most important challenges facing Twitter's business. Obviously, they did have an increased political presence, with President Trump utilizing the app throughout his campaign with his wide-ranging opinions. Other candidates followed suit as he was gaining exposure through using this. However, the public is somewhat divided on how professional it was for Trump to voice his thoughts, which sometimes singled out individuals or companies. However, his engagement did contribute to an increasing number of users on the app. As mentioned earlier, there is a percentage of users who turn to Twitter to look for news and updates. Trump has used his account to speak directly to his constituents, combat others, as well as endorse others. Twitter itself actually fought back on the travel ban that President Trump had implemented by donating $1.5 million to the ACLU to fight this act. Ultimately, there are both positive and negative takeaways from the political analysis on Twitter, depending which light it is looked at in. Twitter has also had its struggles on a legal front by having troubles preventing what are known as trollers. Users have been found to be verbally abusive, as the app does provide a free-based forum where users may contribute opinions even if they aren't that popular. Harassment and cyberbullying have been an issue for Twitter's management since the founding of the company. A partial reasoning behind this is that users are allowed to design their own handles and nicknames. Therefore, they are able to hide behind these fake personas. Oftentimes, these users are banned, although Twitter has been criticized for not responding quickly enough. These trollers have often found loopholes to create new accounts and continue with their disparaging acts. An effort to prevent this was introduced in 2015, where they tried identifying the location that these users were trolling from and preventing them from creating new accounts. However, this effort has been unsuccessful, and Twitter has yet to come up with a way to effectively combat these issues.